Drill sergeants aren't cussing at soldiers anymore. If you got to use that language to get somebody to do something, you are not relevant in our army anymore.
I'll still be there for you.
Today we're going to be talking about if drill sergeants have gone soft, right? What is up, guys? My name is Ben Allen. Welcome back to the channel. And yeah, just like I showed in that little intro clip, right? I've seen a lot of articles, a lot of videos talking about how the Army's gone woke, how drill sergeants are getting softer and softer as the years go on. And we're just going to talk about that today, right? But before we jump into it, be sure to like this video so it pushes out to a larger audience. Subscribe if you're new here and getting ready to join the military, or if you want advice for getting out of the military, because I did 4 years active, a year and a half in the reserves, and now I'm living the civilian life. I've gone through the VA process as well, so I have knowledge with that. If you guys want to ask me questions, you can do so through my Discord, which is linked down below. There's over 300 people in there that can help answer your questions, or you can follow me directly on Instagram at @TheBenAllen. I take about 2 weeks to respond to DMs, just depends, but you can reach out to me on there. But jumping into the topic, guys, first we're going to hit on what it used to be like, right? The shark attack, the in your face. And if you don't know what a shark attack is, here's a quick little clip to give you an idea.
You decided to join the Army and you can't pick that back up. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
All right, so you saw right there, they're just in your face, they're yelling, they're swarming you. It's just pure chaos, right? Like that's what it is. It's chaos. Well, I guess it's organized chaos in a way, because the drill sergeants are the ones in control and they're organizing that whole little event, which is the shark attack. When I went through basic training, it was 2015. They were still doing shark attacks. I'm pretty sure back even before then, they were doing way crazier things, right? I'm pretty sure drill sergeants could even put their hands on trainees, throw them around, punch them, whatever. I'm sure they wouldn't do it often, right? But if they needed to, they probably definitely would, right? But 2015, it was like on that downward trend, I guess, where they were kind of starting to get limited in what they could do, but they were still in our face. They were still yelling at you. They would swarm you. We had this one girl in my basic training, I'm friends with her today, but she just looked like she was gonna cry, and the drill sergeants, like 5 or 6 of them, all circled around her, just swarming her, giving her the knife hands, everything, like, oh, you're gonna cry, princess, you're gonna cry, and she's crying. And it was funny, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking hilarious. But it's always funny when it's not happening to you, right? And they were just going in. They were going ham. It was crazy. It was a sight to behold, right? And then after that, it lasted for about another hour, hour and a half. They made us do a bunch of stupid shit. They made us hold our bags over our head. People were like dropping them. If you dropped them, they'd make you do push-ups. They'd yell at you. You definitely didn't want to drop them, because your shit was getting fucked up if you dropped that shit. And then they would make us do a layout. They had us dump all our bags out, lay everything out. If you were missing an item, they'd yell at you. They'd grab your shit. They'd toss it. It was just, it was cool. Like, to me, like, I thrive in chaos. I like the disorganization of things. And to me, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be like. So it was cool to just see it all happen in front of you in real time, right? And that's kind of how it was. That's kind of how, the Army basic training used to be. And then over the next couple years, right, maybe 2019 to now, you've seen they've kind of been implementing new things. And by new things, I'm specifically talking about the first 100 yards, which is kind of pulling away from the shark attack, right? Whereas the shark attack, they're yelling, they're in your face. The first 100 yards is more of, it's meant to be more professional, I guess, is how I've heard it explained. I've done videos on it, but it's kind of just saying that, like, oh, if you have to yell at soldiers to get them to do something or to understand what you're saying, that's not really effective leadership. Because, like, if somebody's yelling at you, like, you're either gonna, because you look at a drill sergeant and you think, okay, you're either gonna fear this person or respect this person. If you're straight up yelling at them, just dogging them, just smoking the dog shit out of them, it's not really building up a whole lot of unity, a whole lot of respect. It's just more of a fear thing. You're just like, oh shit. Like, I've seen people comment on other videos like, oh yeah, my drill sergeant put the fear of God into me, stuff like that. And sometimes that is needed. If you guys want to know my opinion on it, I'm kind of like on the fence. I do think what they're doing nowadays is a good step forward for the times and their whole recruiting process. But I do think as well, the shark attack, it builds character, builds discipline. It definitely makes soldiers and breaks them of their civilian habits and trains them to, you know, become soldiers when they graduate and stuff like that, right? But nowadays, like I was saying, you know, they're more limited in what they can do. Like, they're not really supposed to be yelling at you. They're supposed to be building you up in a positive way, right? To really, and the reason they're doing that is to build the trust, build the unity, build the morale and stuff like that, because they see how, you know, that could be affecting numbers in terms of recruitment, and they want to definitely just be building a better, like, I guess, army as a whole, right? They want to start moving it forward, and you can't really do that if you're stuck in the past, you know, with the whole yelling, the whole shark attack things. And so I've seen a lot of the videos talking about how drill sergeants are trained nowadays, and one guy in the video that he said something, and I thought, you know, it was pretty true, right? Like, while they're changing their approach to basic training and how drill sergeants interact with soldiers, the specific training that the drill sergeants are going through to become drill sergeants and that they're training the soldiers at basic training is the same. It's the same, it's just being hit with a different approach. And I thought that was real cool. That was coming from a 2-star general. I'll link the video that I watched from Insider Business talking about the drill sergeant training and stuff like that in the description box if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. But it's true, right? If you're doing the same training but you're just changing the approach, that could make the world a difference, right? Like, some people don't learn by getting yelled at and getting smoked and shit like that, right? Especially, like, you know, the new generation, Gen Z, right? They're the ones that are like the next generation. They're the ones that are enlisting, or, you know, they're trying to enlist, but numbers have been real low, so they gotta approach it differently. And I do commend the Army for adjusting to the times, right? And, you know, shifting fire and making the changes they need to make in order to, you know, build up the military nowadays, right? Because you've seen it in articles, I'm sure, like, oh, recruitment numbers at an all-time low, this, that, and the other. And I think it's okay, you know, it's kind of working, but also I can see how a lot of people are upset because they think the Army's gone woke, or they think that drill sergeants are softer because they're not in your face. And I don't necessarily think you have to command leadership that way. I don't think if you have to yell, if you have to say you're in charge, then you really aren't in charge. You know what I mean? If you take the time to explain to the soldiers in basic why they're fucked up and why they're wrong, as opposed to they fuck up and you just smoke the dog shit out of them, I think they'll like it a little more, and they'll be more inclined to want to get better because you're treating them like a human as opposed to a piece of property or an object or a low-level soldier that you could give two shits about. You just want to check them off and pass them, right? And that's cool, right? People respond very well to that. I do also think that the shark attack built a lot of discipline, a lot of motivation in a way, because you would not want to get fucked up again. If you got fucked up, you don't want to have to go through that again, so you make less mistakes, right? But it's like two sides of the same coin, right? Like, it builds character, builds discipline, but then also the new way they're doing it is good. It helps out the people that, you know, maybe don't respond well to that type of environment and, you know, interactions with drill sergeants, but you know, it is what it is. Like, that's what the Army's doing nowadays, and I think it's a good step forward, right? I think if they mix like the first 100 yards with a version of the shark attack, it would be like the perfect combination, right? Because they're still being treated like humans, they're still being, you know, trained in a professional manner, but they should know that if you do fuck up consistently, there's going to be consequences, and there's probably going to be somebody in your face correcting you, because that's how the real world is, right? Like, basic training, you can shelter these soldiers all you want, but as soon as they get to their first duty stations or if they go overseas, it's not going to be like a watered down basic training where the drill sergeants have to treat you a certain way or else they'll get reprimanded by their leadership. Like, there's real world consequences, you know, to real world actions. You go to your first duty stations, you're going to find out there's things such as toxic leadership, leaders that don't have to treat you right because they're a drill sergeant. Like, they can treat you like dog shit, and most of the time get away with it, right? Because the Army likes to cover up stuff, right? As you've seen time and time and again from a lot of those cases and things that have gone on in the past. And you're either going to have to adjust to it or deal with it or figure out a way to overcome that adversity. Whereas if you went through the shark attack and they were in your face, you'd probably be a little more inclined to figure a way out of it, because, you know, you have to be quick, you have to think. But I do think that whatever they lack in basic training, they're going to learn, you know, real hard and real fast at their first duty station. So it's maybe hurting them initially, but they're going to learn regardless. They're gonna learn in the long run. And if you're National Guard Reserves, you go to your duty stations, you know, you're not there as much, but you know, you probably still come into contact with some like shitty leaders or some shitty leadership or just scenarios that you're going to have to deal with. But overall, guys, let me know down in the comments what you think about the new Army. Do you think it has gone woke? And if so, why? Do you think drill sergeants are softer, or do you think they're the same? Let me know. If you are a drill sergeant, let me know how you feel about everything, and if you can provide more insight, feel free to do so. If you just graduated basic training, let me know how that experience was for you. How were your drill sergeants? Did you fear them? Did you respect them? Was it a mix of both? And yeah, let's talk about it, guys. Join my Discord. There's over 300 people in there that can help answer y'all's questions. Follow me on my Instagram at @TheBenAllen, and be sure to like this video so it pushes out to a larger audience, and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all on the next one. Later.